are back for the third part of this one. I skipped a couple of slides. I admit it. They weren't that interesting. So we want to talk about attributions and self-fulfilling prophecies to finish this up. These are the important. Now, attributions is one of the hugest ideas within social psychology. Let's get this one right away because it's going to pop up. When I see somebody doing a behavior, I'm often thinking to myself, I wonder why they did that. And there's really only two answers to that. The two answers are quite simple. That person did that behavior because A, that's who they are as a person. Or B, there's something about that person's situation that influenced their behavior. So now a student comes in late to my class. Either A, that student is just lazy SOB, or B, that person had a hard time finding a parking spot. Misattribution is mistakenly attributing a behavior to the wrong source. Okay? Attribute a student is late, not like that student is lazy, but in fact it was because they had a flat tire, something like that. Read on Kelly's theory of attributions. It's really kind of interesting the way that it works. It's, this slide right here is pretty good. It's just an awful lot of words. But, there's a student sleeping in my class. And so it's like consensus. No other student falls asleep in my class. Consistency. This person falls asleep every time. And low. He falls asleep in other classes as well. This student is lazy. You see how you look at the consensus, that is, are other people behaving this way? The consistency. Does this person do this repeatedly, this behavior? And distinctiveness. Is this a behavior that's only occurring here, or is it occurring in other places? You put the three together, and then you make an attribution. And it's a cute thing, but one that I don't particularly want to get a huge detail on. Here, this is classic. What was it? Evaluations of the guest speaker as students expecting either a warm or a cold person. Yeah, they're told the speaker that's going to come in is very, very warm and they're a good person. And then they come in and they give a speech, and it's the exact same speech, as the other group that's told, this is a very cold and distant person. And it's like, lo and behold, when they rated the same speech, all kinds of different, responses came out. All right, whatever. That was interesting, but this is better. The fundamental attribution error. So now there's one of the greatest pictures in your textbook. Okay, you got this picture of the car that's sitting at the Citgo gas station there, and it's at that rear pump, and you're of course sitting back here somewhere going, all right, can you move the car, you selfish bastard, right? And you're thinking, what kind of an asshole just parks their car right there at that pump when this pump, pull forward, please pull forward. There should be a rule. It shouldn't be a please. It should just, pull forward. But for all we know, this dude pulled in, and when they pulled in, somebody was parked there filling their gas. That person then proceeded to leave while this person was still gassing up. And I'm sitting here going, what a son of a bitch. I can't believe how selfish that bastard is. Alright, that's a misattribution. That is an attribution where I'm attributing the behavior, this particular behavior to some characteristic of that individual rather than the situation itself. And we call this, in fact, the fundamental attribution error. The tendency for an observer to underestimate situational influences and overestimate dispositional influences. Like, say quickly, there was this notion of, when I taught general psychology one semester, I had a 9 o'clock class and a 10 o'clock class. And the grades I got out of those two classes weren't even close. The 10 o'clock class far, far outperformed the 9 o'clock class. And I didn't, I was just kind of, does it mean the 9 o'clock class is lazy? 10 o'clock is, they're the same people. It's just 9 o'clock. An actress was paid. She comes in and says, she's going to act cold and distant. We're paying her. In fact, we'll put $20 in her hand right in front of you. And she acts all cold and distant, and then afterwards we say, fill out this little personality questionnaire about this woman. And if you watched her act cold, even though I told you she was acting and I paid her right in front of you, you report that she's cold. That's who she becomes. Or Leonard Nimoy's book, I Am Not Spock, right? Yeah, okay. Because that's what the fundamental attribution error is about. Ignoring the situation. The situation, yeah, acting, that's really a situation. Not so much fun. It's interesting. Maybe you want to read that one. That was fun, the little Jeopardy one. Why do we make it though? All right, it turns out that, let's go back to my student that comes walking in my door late, and I'm like, that lazy little shit, coming in late. When in truth, that student just had a hard time because there was an accident on I-35 or something. Why do I make this mistake? Because I did not see that student until the moment they walked in the door. I know what goes on in my life, okay? Don't get me wrong. I know my situation. I don't know yours. How the hell do I know? All I saw was you walk in late. I did not see you even one moment before that. I have no clue what's going on in your world. And so we find that we observe the world from a different perspective when I look at you than when I. It's literally, I'm watching out of my eyes. So, very interesting. If we watched a videotape confession, that is, there's a confession on tape, and you watch a video from the perspective of the detective or something. It's like, oh, this guy's guilty. That was a good confession. But if you watch a videotape of the exact same confession, but you watch it from behind the person giving the confession, you're like, that was forced, man. That detective really pulled it out of him. Okay. If you see the world from a different perspective, you can understand the situation. Blah. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is very interesting. The classic is they took a group of students, like 5 students in a classroom, and they told the teachers, hey, we did some summer testing on these kids, and these 5 kids, they're ready to bloom this year, right? They're just ready to go. And at the end of the year, those 5 kids really just, and what's crazy is those 5 kids were randomly chosen. And they did this in multiple classes. It just pops out. Why? The teachers expect them to do good, then they treat them differently, they become good. This clearly has implications for things such as ADHD. A child is given the label ADHD. The teacher says, this kid is trouble, and it just becomes, okay? We become that thing that people expect us to become. Blah. Oh, yeah, there you go. 20% bloom economic. I just said that. Okay. You know what? I'm going to let you finish this one up. I will see you on chapter 4. Although I believe the next thing I'm going to do is put together short paper 2.